Hello everyone, here are a few ideas to help you along in your milestone 2 submission. If we look in the requirements of milestone 2, we will see that the first thing to do is to have 3 functioning game levels and that are implemented in the same way that we've implemented them in class in the levels demo. The way I'm going to approach this is that I've loaded and unzipped the levels demo and the events demo, and I will take the levels functionality from the levels demo and integrate it into the events demo. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because at this point you probably have a functioning game that you've delivered as part of milestone 1 and worked on ever since. So instead of starting anew from the levels demo and recreating your entire game, what you probably want to do is migrate the functionality of levels from the levels demo into your existing game. The quickest way to do this is to go directly into the code and copy some classes from the levels demo into the events demo. So I'm going to go into the levels source code, and I'm going to copy the controller, the door listener, the game level, level 1, and level 2. I'm going to copy all of these classes into the source code of the events demo. Or in your case, in your game. And I'm going to replace anything that already exists. Great. If I go into the events demo source code, I will now see all of these, for example, level 1 and level 2. But there are a few things that are still different, and a lot of those different things are in the game.java classes. So those two are different in levels and in events demo. So I'm going to open, this one is game.java from levels, and this one is game.java from your game, or from the events demo in my case. And I will go through the game.java from the levels, and I will see what's different from my old game and migrate those bits of code into my game events demo in this case. So first of all, I noticed that the field world is of game world type in my events demo, but it is game level in here, so I'm going to change this. And then I noticed that I have these two additional fields that should make their way into the events demo. I noticed this line here in the events demo is different from these 3 lines here. So I'm going to copy these 3 lines on top of my old one-liner. If I scroll down in the levels demo, I will also see these 2 lines, and I will need to copy these in here. And finally, if I go into the levels demo again, I will see that I have these 3 methods. Which I want to copy and put in here. Good. For some reason I see that the controller doesn't have a set body method, but I think this might be just because NetBeans is confused. So I'm going to clean and build the project again and hope that this will go away, and indeed it did. Alright. Well, it's a little scary, but let's see what happens if I run the code, particularly events demo. I get cannot read image file data door. So I need to go into the source directory and copy from data in levels the door image. and put it into the events demo. Okay, let's try this again. Run. Good, so I have this scene right here. The problem is that this scene is probably not the one from your game, right? So this is because you are creating your game world in this gameworld.java class. And now you're creating it in a combination of game level and level 1. So I think what you'll want to do is go into the game world in your old game world class or wherever you are creating or setting up your world and take all this code. So take the code where you create platforms and birds and enemies and so on and oranges and copy it and put it in level 1 instead of this code here. Good, except that you take this bit where you create your character and you move it into the base game level class, because now this is where we're creating the player. And you notice that in your old game you're probably creating your player at a very concrete start position. And instead, in here we're going to use the start position method. If you want to know more about where this comes from, and you should want to know more, is then watch the previous video that I uploaded, which explains on how game level changing works. Okay. Here I don't have access to the bird anymore, but I do have access to get player, which is a method in the base class game level of level 1, so I should be able to call it. Let's see if we can get rid of that error again by recompiling. Sure enough, it went away, so let's see what happens now if I run the code. You should now have something that looks like this, where you have a scene from your current existing game, plus a door. The position of this door might not work very well in the context of your existing game, so you might have to change some coordinates to move the door in a position that makes sense in your particular scene. And you do that by going into level 1 and changing the return value in this start position, actually in this door position. And maybe also your player is in the wrong position in your scene, so you'll want to change the return of this. Now let's see if we can transition to the right next level. I will collect a few oranges and then try to go through the door, and nothing happens. That's a bummer. Let's see why. One reason why I'm not going through is because I'm not colliding with the door. So let's make sure that I am colliding with the door. I'm going to go into door listener and I'm going to set the system out print line message here. Again. Oh yes, so I am getting a collision with the door. Perfect. In that case, it's very likely that is current level completed is not true. So I'm going to take this system out print line, move it over here, and also print the value of level done. Ideally, after I collect a bunch of oranges, this should be true. Collision false. So is current level completed in level 1 is false if I only collected 3 oranges. And that's true because the number of oranges that I need to collect to complete level 1 is set to 5 in this version. Notice it here in level1.java. So I'm going to change this to 3. And then perhaps let's rebuild, and then perhaps I will be able to move on to the next level. Sure. This is the next level, even though it looks exactly like the first level. Okay, so to make some difference, I will remove this platform just so that level 2 looks different from level 1. I'm going to go into level 2 and I'm going to remove one of the platforms. Actually, I don't really care which one. And I will run this again just to make sure that we are in different levels. Yes. Good. Now I will want to create a third level. That's easy. I'm simply gonna go into game, create a new class, level 3. I'm gonna just copy directly the code from level 2 into level 3. But you will need to change the name here to make sure it says class name level 3. And again, I want to make sure that I am in the new level, in level 3. So I want to make level 3 look slightly different from level 1 or level 2. And to do that, I am gonna change the color of the platform. Good. So now I have a level 1, 2, and 3, but certainly I will not be able to yet transition to level 3. To do that, I will need to change something in game Java right here. And right now, if my current level is 2 and I try to move on to the next level, I exit the game altogether. And that's because I only have 2 levels. So here, obviously, if the current level is 2, instead of doing this, I will want to move to basically do this. So I will need to change the if structure here a little bit. Instead of, I will leave this as it was. And instead of having level 2 here, I will make it 3. So that now if I'm at level 3 and I try to go past it, I will exit. But I will need to differentiate now. If I am at level 1, then I do exactly what I did before to move on to level 2. And if I'm at level 2, then I will copy all of this, the transition from level 1 to level 2, and I will change it a little bit to move from level 2 to level 3. So here, instead of creating a new level 2, I will create a new level 3. And perhaps that's it. I will also check before I run the game what is the condition to move from level 2 upwards. It wants me to collect 11 oranges. For debugging purposes, that's too much, so I'm going to change that to 4. So 1, I'm going to jump, collect a bunch of oranges from here. I have 5 to level, this is level 2. I've got 4 oranges, so I should be all able to go to the next level, and indeed, this is level 3 because the platform up there is blue.